Well, as much as I'd love to keep kicking that can down the road, we know that it's coming. And if you've experienced a Houston summer, you know it's only going to get hotter than that, too. As we continue to monitor our state's power grid, one company believes artificial intelligence could help prevent rolling blackouts this summer. So joining me live to share details on how this works, why it could work, Gridbeyond CEO Michael Phelan. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Thank you for joining us. So for people who might not know, what is Gridbeyond?
Gridbeyond is a smart grid company, so we help to balance grids, for example, the ERCOT grid, where we would forecast things like the load. Obviously, the load is driven by the temperature, so very hot days drives very high load with a lot of air conditioning usage, etc. We would also forecast the renewables, so we'd see what the solar and wind are going to do and generally what generation is going to do. We then forecast net load, so we're trying to figure out, given all the renewables on the grid, what's the situation of the grid, and then we use smart techniques to basically manage things like batteries and also peakers and various things and the load, industrial load, to make sure the grid balances and everybody's happy and can stay cool in a warm temperature.
Well, that would certainly keep us happy, yes. From what I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your business, or you have business in the UK and in Ireland. So why is Texas attractive to Gridbeyond?
Because in Texas, you have a lot of renewables on the grid. You're obviously adding more all the time, which is a good thing from the point of view that you get very hot days. And on those very hot days, the sun is working hard, so it can actually generate a lot of power. But on grids like that, you need a lot of intelligence to make sure that they balance all the time, because you're relying on basically demand side, so things like industrial loads, batteries and generators and various things to come in if the renewable is ramping out, say that you're on an evening ramp out or various things. So the whole grid has become more complicated, and therefore you need more intelligent systems to manage it.
Have you actually been in contact with ERCOT? Is this something that you guys are working towards?
Yeah, we're a supplier to ERCOT, so we supply industrial loads and from various parts of Texas into the market. We also work with batteries and various systems to make sure that the grid is always in balance and that we're charging batteries, for example, at the right times, that they're available for the evening ramp out, or in managing industrial loads so that people will understand when they have flexibility and maybe make that flexibility available at times when the grid might be under stress.
Do you think that AI is actually going to help us this summer? Is it going to prevent energy challenges that we might face?
Yeah, I mean, you're in pretty good shape. Like you've invested a lot in renewables. Renewables are obviously there on your peaks. You've also invested a lot in batteries, and you have a lot of intelligent industrial load. So there's a lot of good things happening. And they all, when combined together, make the grid very stable and make it safe, if you like, when the loads are very high.
Are there more cleaner renewable energy that we should be looking at? How would it help us to invest more in those things?
No, you're doing a good job. Like, you're investing fairly heavily in solar in particular, investing in wind as it makes sense, investing in batteries to balance the grid, industrial loads, encouraging people to put their industrial loads, if they have flexibility in their production schedules, etc., into the market. So a lot of good things happening. And the way the grid is designed, it causes people like us to innovate. Put assets in the right places, calculate prices, various things, make sure that the grid is balanced in the proper way.
I hear an optimistic tone from you. For people who lived through the winter storm of 2021 here in Texas, where our grid failed, you know, there's a lot of hesitancy to trust the grid, but you think that we should?
Well, certainly for the summer peaks and that, you're in pretty good shape. Like the things they've done there are very, very sensible. The problem is when storms come through, they can cause a lot of damage, or freezing storms can cause a lot of damage to thermal plants as well. You can get the water systems freezing and various other systems freezing, and you can end up in situations that the thermal plants are not supplying the power they need to. I think that's what happened in the winter storm.
Yeah, so do you think that we're in better shape for summer than winter?
Well, I think people are working on getting in better shape for winter as well. People are now realizing it can get very cold in the winter, and you need to prepare for freezing temperatures. And obviously other parts of the US have done that. So Texas is capable of doing that as well and is working on that.
Yeah. Well, Michael Phelan, it's been an honor talking to you this morning. I really appreciate everything you have to say. Is there anything else you'd like people to know about Gridbeyond before I let you go?
Well, people can, I suppose, realize that they have intelligent buildings, intelligent production and various things that can actually help the grid to balance in the summer, and they can make some money or save some money in the process. So they can work with companies like Gridbeyond to achieve these things. and make sure that everybody's in a comfortable situation right through the summer, and spare capacity that exists on the grid is being used in as efficient a way as possible.
Yeah, very important for places like Texas where we get, the heat can be deadly. So we appreciate your insight.
Okay, very good talking to you. Good morning.